played hard. Again, you're seeing guys, run hard, break tackles. I thought for us, man, just too many tackles, too many yards after contact, in the day, and that really showed itself. We couldn't get ourselves off the field defensively, and on third down, allowed too many chunk plays, long plays, unlike in the running game. And next, for me, it's about looking at and how guys are competing, in the midst of adversity, and saw some guys, been working to try to strain, and other guys, looking to try to figure it out. And football's not that way. And you got to play this game, man. You got to fight through it. You got to fight through the adversity. And in the end, it just wasn't good enough. It wasn't good enough. And that always starts with me as a head coach. So what ails us defensively, okay, man, we got to get fixed. We can't go forward looking in the rearview mirror. We're not going to get this game back. But there's a lot to be learned from it. I thought we had guys where we needed them to be, but in terms of the fits and the finish and just being consistent about getting guys on the ground, and it didn't happen. And with these guys, man, we can't just go in there and just try to elbow or arm a guy. You got to tackle a guy. You got to put your face on somebody, and that's what teams like this will do. They will expose exactly who you are. And if you don't, if you aren't consistent with your tackling fundamentals and mechanics. So, with that being the case, I thought there were some signs offensively at times. I saw Sherman do some nice things. I saw Ralph Webb run hard. I thought he ran hard. I think in the run game is still struggling, just like the defense right now is struggling. But I thought it showed signs of life. Every drive we had, it sputtered. For the most part, we wound up just fizzling out for one reason or another, and it just got to be better. So right now, we're 3-3 at the stretch. We got to go on the road next week versus Ole Miss, and we got 7 days to fix what ails us. And for us, man, it's definitely back to work, back to the drawing board. Like tomorrow, it's not new. But like I said, you can't move forward looking in the rearview mirror, but you do got to fix, what's going on, and we'll address that tomorrow.
So what creates a poor tackling performance? I mean, it's one thing if one guy has a bad day, but for an entire defense,
yeah.
I mean, what do you think is the root of that right now?
Well, I'm looking at it, and a lot of times on contact, it's dead legs on contact. Okay, it's not bringing your feet to and beyond contact. That's what has to happen. When you get backs who are running with low pad level, the idea of force meeting force. Okay, if you stop and he's still driving, he's going to run through contact every time, and that's what it is. And so you can practice it, you can work through it, but in the midst of games, man, you got to trust your training. And these guys, okay, man, will continue to keep working on tackling fundamentals. It's got to be better. You can drill it all you want to, but what it comes down to is what you do when live bullets are coming. We didn't have these issues early in the season. We haven't played a stretch of football this tough, but I don't think it has anything to do with the stretch of football. I know the teams are tough. I know the people that we're facing are good running backs, but the idea of tackling is still tackling. Okay, you got to run your feet to and beyond contact. You got to rat tackle. You got to get a man on the ground.
Being a defensive guy, how much does that stick in your craw? Just the fundamentals, not being here.
Man, it sticks in my craw, but the reality is, I have to make sure too, that I don't lose focus. Okay, I've got to fix it. Okay, man. So you get back to work and you just keep looking for those things, man, that you can point out. We can drill it all we want to. Last week, man, I thought guys did a solid job of tackling. At times today, a couple times today it looked good. A couple times today it didn't, or most of the day it didn't look very, very good. So it's just the idea of just being consistent. I've got to harp on it. I got to demand it. And if we're not getting it, okay, man, we just have to make guys understand the importance of it because it continues to show up for us.
Eric, when you struggle against the run and you struggle to run, is that just a question of physicality?
It's sometimes it can be a question of physicality. Sometimes it's a question of depth. Okay, when you don't get off the field, okay, your depth starts to wane, and you start to get real thin. Hey, I wish I was deeper. Okay, I mean, I've got some young guys, but in ball games like this, when you want to get those guys reps, what you're trying to do is make sure, okay, your older guys are fighting and working through the adversity, man, so they can get better. Because what happens is this: if you take them out, okay, man, and they haven't gotten themselves through the other side, but then what starts to happen is they start to believe what's just happened to them, and so mentally, man, you have to work to get them back. Okay, and that's a tough thing to do. So with this group, again. Just don't have the depth that we need right now. Okay, man, we need more. We need more guys to play up front, but it all gets back to tackling and getting off the field. If you don't get off the field, it doesn't matter.
Even with an older team, you still have to pay attention to confidence. What level of is that right now? Any chance that that's eroded over all these tough games?
It's been hit. It's not eroded. The leadership in the locker room is good. I mean, those guys. After I spoke to the team, those guys got up there and talked and listened. Man, we're 3-3 at the halfway mark. Okay, I mean, we're one game better than where we were a year ago. And really, what you got to do now, man, is dig. You got to dig. You got to fix what ails you. We play tough teams, but that doesn't excuse the idea of how we play. Some of it's been bad football, and when I say bad football, just way too inconsistent. Okay, I mean, if it's any type of consistent. Okay, man, I would have liked the end game of it, because here's the thing, okay? I just want to make sure that these guys play hard. If you play hard, if you can give me the consistency, okay, we can get the result that we want. But if you don't play hard consistently, it can get out of hand, and that's what it did today.
Do you not think there's any kind of cumulative effect here with these 3 games in a row? Confidence, but also just, the physical beating for 3 weeks?
It's physical wear and tear. I mean, that's going to happen. I mean, playing 4 top 25s, that's going to do it to you. I mean, when you look at those teams, every one of those teams run the football. Every one of those teams run the football. So I think all those shots start to become cumulative. But again, we have to do a better job of getting ourselves off the field. I mean, if you don't get yourself off the field, some of those situations or some of those times today, man, we had opportunities to get off the field, and we didn't. And that was just poor execution, and on our part. It wasn't alignment. It was finish, strain to finish. And again, that's got to get cleaned up, because that's not going to stop. You're still going to be in 3rd and 4. You're still going to be in 3rd and 7. You're still going to be in 3rd and 16. Okay, those situations are pretty much unexcusable to me, and we'll get back and we'll fix it.
Any update on Nephi at all that you can give? Looked like he hurt his leg or on that fumble return.
I don't know yet. I mean, I haven't seen the doctors. I mean, I haven't heard from any doctors, so I'll find out shortly.
Derek, those signs of life in the run game that you mentioned, on those plays that Ralph was able to find space, what kind of was working? Was it the play call that was different? Was it the offensive line getting a better push?
I thought guys, stayed on their blocks. I thought Ralph, ran hard. Again, I mean, those guys worked hard this week. I mean, working the strain. Sometimes there was something there. Sometimes there. I mean, sometimes Georgia did a great job of getting vertical penetration, and there were other times where guys stayed on blocks and Ralph made a good cut and found himself in space and ran hard. So it's a combination. It's not one or the other. I think again, we were going to have to run ourselves through it and work our way through it, and that's not stopping. We're still going to keep trucking ahead.
Kind of touched on it a little bit, but looking forward, is there any sense at all of, okay, we've gotten through this stretch now, let's see what we can do in this back half of the season?
Yeah, I mean, I think in my mind as a head coach from a 50,000-foot view, that's the way I have to look at it. But I've got to address the issues too, and so we're still one game at a time. We've got to take this stretch one game at a time. It hasn't gone the way we wanted it to go, obviously. But again, my focus is definitely on getting it fixed, getting back to work, and making sure that we line up and play good football versus Ole Miss.
Coach, conversation with the referee going in at halftime. What were you concerned about there, or what were you asking about?
But that's just between me and the referee. I don't want to comment, on my conversations with referees. I think what has to happen is that we just have to make sure that we're heard and that they understand exactly what the concerns are. That's it.
Sam Lowy had a couple bad punts. I saw you talk to him on the sideline after one of them. He came back and hit a 55, 60-yarder. What? Just confidence? Is that what you talked to him about?
Consistency. I mean, we it doesn't matter what player we have on this team, coaches as well. We just got to have more consistency. And again, I know it sounds redundant, it sounds like coach speak, but a lot of your best football comes, man, not when you're high, not when you're low, but it's right when you're in the middle. So the consistency part is what we need right now.
Coach, if both your rushing and Russian offense and defense are struggling. How do you mitigate that in practice as far as preparing? I mean, if they're both subpar, how can you get good practice in for that?
Well, just keep practicing. That's exactly what I'm going to continue to do. Work on the things that need to be addressed, and we got to formulate a new plan, because obviously the things we're doing right now aren't working. So we'll get it fixed.
One more.
Good.
Thank you.
Thanks.